but how does it feel to be an author of a self-help book and not an auditing, commerce, or finance book? So how does it feel to be an author?
Okay, so my book, Audit of Habits, I think
I
the
think you can show
my
it. Yeah. Now it's visible.
yeah.
Yes. Our guest is Miss Namita Bhalla. She is a CA. She has worked into auditing for 12 plus years, and now she is an author, she is a writer, and she is a LinkedIn branding strategist. So a lot of diverse experience. So let's welcome our guest. Welcome Namita. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Shivani, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here on your show.
I mean, I just can't resist myself uh, just throwing this first question, which is like may sound abrupt, but how does it feel to be an author of a self-help book and not an auditing, commerce, or finance book? So how does it feel to be an author?
Yeah, I think we have grown up reading the auditing, the big fat CA books, the auditing, taxation, and all of those. So those that is something that just gets into our system. But I
Mhm.
think simultaneously, my passion was also breathing along with my profession.
Hmm.
I kept on reading. I kept that habit alive whenever I could, wherever I could get time. And self help was quite attracted to. It has helped me a lot in my personal life, my professional life. I really follow authors like Robin Sharma. He was the first self help author I read about. I read his books, and then it went on and on. I uh, kept on reading a lot of other books also. Then slowly, writing is also something that was with me since the time I was in school. I used to get little short write ups here and there published in the local newspaper, South Delhi Plus, supplements. And it felt very good at that point of time to get even those small write ups published somewhere with your name there as a writer. So that was something that was already there. It wasn't at a larger scale as it is now, but it was already there. And now, after so many years, having that come alive into a book really feels great. Someone introduces me as an author, a writer. It feels it's a good feeling. Apart from an auditor, I have also tried and managed to create a separate identity for myself,
Hmm.
and more than that, to be able to help someone, even if someone is benefiting out of it, out of these words, even if there is a 1% change which gets a compound effect, it really feels satisfying. So, so that feeling is wonderful.
Yeah. Satisfaction is something which I can see clearly, I can sense clearly from what you mentioned. And I know
Yeah.
it really feels exciting when we are into something which we are very interested and passionate about. And yeah, I'm feeling so happy right now hearing your response. I'm really happy for you. So uh, and apart from it, like uh, I know that you have been working in auditing in a field which is which sounds very fancy, very decent job, very decent salary, I'm sure. And then switching to a role which is really new. I mean, being an author is not new, but into LinkedIn brand strategy and also a lot of assignments around ghostwriting. So how that transition was for you? Like for many of us, I know this is a culture that we are adapting with new opportunities, new scope are coming up. So I think it's a little bit common now, but still there's some pressure, there's some tension from our peers, from maybe our family also. So how was that transition for you?
very tough, I would say, and it is still not over because it's just few months back that I dived into this field. So I would still say that I am still in the transition phase, in the hustle phase, as you call it. And it can never be easy because more than the society fears, the pressure I feel has been internal. I used to, because devoting yourself to a profession so religiously, I would say, because when you are in such a demanding profession, you have to live up to it. Um, and it's not easy after so many years, given the fact that when you step into this profession, you are quite ambitious. You want to do a lot of things, achieve a lot of things, and then slowly and steadily, there are responsibilities also building upon you. You start a family, then living in a metropolitan city is not easy. Having a child here, there are a lot of, apart from the financial pressures, also there are a lot of other internal pressures because you are not aligned to this way of hustle for so many years. Your mindset is totally different. You don't feel like an entrepreneur yet. But the biggest challenge, I think, is to get past those fears, embrace those fears, and just trying to experience what you really are aligned with internally. The fact that I took the plunge was I couldn't envision myself 5 years down the line in the same profession at a higher level, and still not very happy doing the job. I might be doing it very well, and it would be rewarding also. But again, the internal alignment, I think that is something that took priority in my case. I listened to that internal voice that maybe now is the time that I have to try out different things, experiment with myself. And so I started the discussion. My life partner, I think that is where I'm getting the biggest support from. So I had to bring him on board with my thought process, what I want to do. We planned financially, because I think anyone who is trying to take this plunge, they need to consider the financial aspect. That is absolutely important.
Right.
Because if you are under a financial stress, then you won't be able to give yourself 100% to this kind of experimentation. So planning it out financially, even for a small set of period, is very essential. Once that is figured out, and then you can figure out the other steps also, because when you are in a streamlined profession like auditing, you can see the entire road up till your destination. Okay, these are the different milestones. First, you start at
Mhm.
an associate level, then you get to a manager, senior
Right.
manager, and then director level, partner level. So the entire roadmap is in front of you. But when you're trying something like this, you can just see just a few steps ahead, and the entire path is not currently clear to you. It's all foggy, it's all misty. So the moment you take few steps ahead, then a little bit of more path comes into picture, it gets clear, and then you might have to pivot also midway. So it's a
Mm.
lot of uncertainty here, and hence the pressures are quite internal, and it is tough. I used to get up in cold sweats at night when I took this step. There was a lot of anxiety also. Then slowly the feeling got settled in, and now I'm trying to put myself totally into this.
Mm. Mm.
So a lot I've spoken about.
So
Yeah,
I could sense the self-awareness and how calculated uh, risk you must have taken. That was a very thoughtful decision, of course. So talking about the fears part and the fear of uncertainty, of course. Speaking of that, how I know that you mentioned that you have a very supportive partner. That's wonderful. That's really great to have. Uh, but when you mentioned that it's more of an internal thing, so how are you able to, deal with it? How are you coping with it right now? If you can share a little bit about that, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who want to switch or who are into the same phase. They might benefit from it.
Absolutely, Shivani. I think one way is don't think about the past and be completely present in the current state right now. So that is just one way I'm trying to go further with it. I'm not thinking about the past and I'm not thinking about the future also. If there's a certain time period I have given myself to try out things, I'm just focusing on that time period right now, that I need to experiment. I need to give my attention to work. I try to structure my days. Of course, when you are out of your structured job days, then a little bit of laziness does creeps in. Life gets in the way, and there are also things that you want to try out. You want to spend time on. Which you were not able to do earlier. So I'm spending an unproportionate amount of time with my daughter also. That is one thing. But apart from that, I try to keep a structure to my days. If I know I that this is the time I have to deliver, I have to focused work. I try to do that,
Mhm.
cutting off distractions, and then joining certain support groups is extremely helpful. So I have this started last year. I joined Toastmasters group, and that has been very beneficial. So every Sunday there's a Toastmasters meet, and there are a lot of like-minded people, entrepreneurs, corporate professionals there, and you get to meet them. You exchange ideas. You get better at your public speaking also. So that's a good community that I have joined. So that is one way of coping with it and going ahead, and then just focusing on your current, having certain weekly goals and monthly goals, that okay, I am trying to reach out to so many people. Just I think, Shivani, you would be also trying to do the same things, the way you reached out to me, and
Yes,
you must be
absolutely.
reaching out to other people, having certain goals in mind. Sometimes it materializes and sometimes it doesn't, so you have to take in that also. There are a lot of rejections you face, and
Right.
you have to take it in the right spirit, not take it to heart, and move on as well. So these are the things that currently are helping me, just the focus and the right community, which currently is going on ahead. And then, of course, certain habits of meditating and self belief. Okay, wherever it is going, it's going to be fine.
Emphasize on what you said about your ways of coping with it. So one thing I really loved is, and which is really rare, is taking help of people who are sailing in the same boat. The support group part, which you mentioned. So I think even I have been part of a few sessions in the support group as well. And I'm so happy to say this right now that the organization I am associated with, the Innate Mind, we are introducing a support group for especially women in January. So
Oh,
yeah,
very
I
nice.
thank you. So that is something which I really thought that it's really rare to hear that people are actually going and getting into some sort of meaningful community where we actually feel okay, this is a space that I wanted for myself, and we can speak, uh, vent out, express, that feels
Yeah,
safe. So that's
yeah.
so great. I really think that
I would love to be part of that organization, Shivani, whenever you start and launch. In whichever capacity I could, I would love to be there.
sure, sure. Wonderful, wonderful. So the very first theme of our support group is on the self-worth. So I think we
Wonderful.
have fixated on that. So of course, I would love to love to host you there as well. So yeah,
Wonderful. That's a
moving.
wonderful initiative. I think we really need a lot of similar groups, because as of now, I think the loneliness is going to increase in the generation that we are seeing. And also now that I'm a parent, and I
Mhm.
have one daughter, and that's the trend here, that we are usually seeing one child per family. That's the nuclear family structure which is there, and there are a lot of factors to it. There are careers, and then financially, people are uh, focusing towards that, and then the population, scarcity of resources. You're very mindful. But I think to cope up with that, there would be the next generation would definitely figure out something on their own. They are very smart and quite ahead of us. But I think the requirement right now for support groups is very important, even for people who are retired and their entire life has revolved around their job, their title, and then again they are left to start from scratch at that age. So I think these groups at that point of time do come in handy,
Hmm.
and
True.
it's a very good it's a very good platform to be a part of.
Yeah, sure, sure, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, I have seen, I have heard of, the kind of loneliness, not just with our generation, but the kind of loss and grief people feel after retirement. So yeah, I do definitely understand that. And though they make sarcastic comments or make fun out of their, transition state, but yes, I mean, it's something which truly should be worked upon. Thank you so much for mentioning that and highlighting that. I would definitely. So I just want to get back with conversation around your book. Thank you.
Okay, so my book, Audit of Habits, I think
I
the
think you can show
my
it. Yeah. Now it's visible.
yeah.
Yes, yes. It's clearly visible.
So I think my the title that came to my mind, my profession, sneaked into my professional, my personal life, and hence I came up with the idea of audit of habits. So basically, it's a collection of a lot of habits that we already know that are existing, are there, we should be doing, but we never get to start them. We are not able to make a start, or even if we start taking a new year resolution, we are quite enthusiastic about it, then we are not able to continue that for a long time. So the idea was that and I have used personal anecdotes because I was not good at starting initiating habits, and I wasn't also quite good at uh, keeping those habits consistent for a long period of time. But it was those the pregnancy that changed the entire perspective and the way I thought and felt. And it started with very small shifts, because pregnancy was the time when you cannot take things lightly. You have to be you're responsible for another life that's growing within you, so you have to do what is required to do at that point of time. So from 7th week of my pregnancy, I started the practice of yoga, and it was just half an hour a day, but the effect, the impact that it had on me was surprising, because I considered myself short tempered before that, and I used to snap at every small thing. But when I started doing yoga, I hardly had any mood swing in my entire pregnancy. And that was as shocking for me as for my husband also. He was blessed that I did started yoga. So it was quite shocking. And even if there were days when I wasn't able to do yoga, the entire asanas completely, because some days were I was low on energy and there were other things going on there. But my yoga instructor advised me to do the deep breathing, just continue doing the deep breathing exercise, even if you're doing just for 5 minutes once you wake up. And I continued that. It's not very hard to take out those 5 minutes. You're sitting and just doing deep breathing in silence.
Right.
So just continuing that in such an easy way, it felt like it's not very tough to keep any habit consistent. You can do it even if you're doing it for 5 minutes, and then you can come back to it when you are full on energy. So that was just one example. And then there were certain other things where I felt that people should actually implement it and know about it, and certain resources that people should know about it, like meditation. I even practiced meditation during this phase of pregnancy, and it helped me calm down, even if I'm meditating for just 5 minutes. And there are certain apps available on the phone, and you can just start practicing meditation just for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and lesser than 5 minutes. And it really helps. It makes you, over a period of time, you would feel more creative also when you start meditation. There was a Netflix series that I've mentioned about in my book on meditation. If you watch that, you would understand the science behind and how practicing it really has a positive impact on your brain. Then there's another that's linked to another habit. There's another Netflix series of Marie Kondo on the habit of cleanliness. It's tidying up with Marie Kondo. So I wrote about that in the book, that how our environment, the cleanliness, the tidiness around, how keeping things organized impacts us also. Um, and that really helps. So I made a collection of all these habits that really is useful in our daily lives, and can, just small tweaks can have such a major impact on how we are in our relationships, how we are health wise, how we are work wise.
Hmm.
And the fact of, collating all these habits, having my personal anecdotes attached to those, and identifying very simple steps to just make a start, that really helped me, because I was practicing affirmations with my daughter. uh, that really had an impact on me more than her. So then there is alpha waves. I wasn't aware about this concept of alpha waves, but I read it online when I was researching about right brain education for my daughter. That how the sound of those alpha waves has an impact on our subconscious mind.
Hmm.
So, and it's not much that you have to do. You just put a YouTube video on, put on the alpha wave sound, and let it just play at a very low volume while you are sleeping, and it does its work.
Hmm.
So that is one thing. And one habit, which is the master of all habits, I call it, is gratitude. I started practicing gratitude with my daughter, and still do now. She's on autopilot. She does gratitude herself, thanking God every day for extra playtime, for pizza, and whatever she
Okay.
has done during the day. And that feels very good. So it's a shift in mindset, that you are feeling abundant and you're thanking God for whatever he has blessed you in life with. So, gratitude is one thing, I think, which is so powerful that it can completely change your way of being.
Of course, of course, of course. Yeah. Mm. There are a lot of things, but we take it for granted, and gratitude reminds us of those small things, those basic things that we do have. And yeah, I do agree. I couldn't agree more actually here.
Okay.
So great. It's so great, and I'm so glad to hear that your daughter practices gratitude on a day-to-day basis on autopilot mode. So it shows, like, I mean, it's something which many of our audience can also get inspired from, and take it as a takeaway. I know that this was, I want to ask something which wasn't planned here, but I can see a lot of things around, a great parenting part here as well. So, um, I would love to hear from you as, I'm so sorry, I just missed, like, how old is your daughter?
5 years. She's five
Five,
years.
5 years. Okay. So from you as a mother of a 5-year-old toddler how does our emotions and how does our behavior and the way we cope with it actually is reflected in our children, and how does it impacts them? I would love to hear it from you. I know that will help a lot of people here.
I think that's the first thing with which they get impacted because they get introduced to formal learning, formal education later, but they are with us from the beginning. So, yeah, the house, the environment around them is the very first teacher, and it continues to be the teacher throughout life. They are learning by observing, and it's not that we are deliberately teaching them, it's just getting into their subconscious mind. Okay, that if there is a conflict in house, how is each person trying to resolve the conflict? From there they get an idea of whether they should panic in a conflict situation, or whether they should deal it with conversations, or whether they should take a break from the situation, spend time elsewhere, and then come back to the situation. There are different ways that every person adapts of dealing with conflict. And they learn this from their surroundings, and we are their very first and very immediate surroundings. So, absolutely, even our emotions are impacting. If I am not feeling I'm not in the best of my mood any day, without even me expressing it or saying anything about it, my daughter would sense it, and she would ask me about it. So, and that's very natural. They are quite, we think that they are toddlers, but I think they are quite emotionally mature even at that age. And their brain capacity is quite high. So, it's very important to be mindful of how we are acting, how we are around them, how we are behaving around them, and not just around them, just overall also for the entire holistic growth that we have in the house. It's important to have some kind of mindfulness within.
It's a lovely and it's so um, satisfying, and it's a blessing to have a kid asking about, what's wrong and what's
What's wrong with
happening.
you? Yes.
Yeah, it feels so good when you mentioned that. And yeah, I mean, it resonates a lot about, the emotional maturity that you spoke about here. So I'm just thinking about it. I'm just processing it right now, asking a lot of things. But due to the time constraint, I think there are few things that we need. I just wanted to ask here, since we are at the end and concluding part of the conversation. So is there anything that shifted your as you mentioned that motherhood shifted a lot of your emotional as well as mental makeup and the
Yeah.
how you were coping with it and a
Yeah.
lot of transition. How was it before and after writing a book? How was like how do you see mental health or emotional processing or any form of wellness aspect as an author now?
Okay. Okay. Um, So before and after writing a book, I think it's just that the publishing has got into between, because before also it was writing, and after also it remains writing only.
Okay,
And
right.
writing as an activity is like meditation. You enjoy doing that, and it feels good. So the
Hmm.
process of writing is good. It's just that when you try to get into a publishing, then there are other processes that come into the way. It's editing, then revisiting, then how do you want to structure it? So that's all technical part. But I think it's not very different if you are before or after. Writing remains writing.
Okay.
So, and I'm glad that it remains that way, because publishing is very different from writing.
Hmm.
And then about mental health, absolutely. I think if anyone gives you tons of money today, and he just, if I offer you 10 crores rupees today, Shivani, and I just ask you that you have to give a part of your brain to me, or any other body part to me, would you agree? Absolutely
Huh.
no, right? So
Yeah,
I think
perfect topic.
nothing is worth giving away your mental sanity, mental peace, and your even your physical well-being. Mental well-being is equally important as physical well-being, if not more. And we are saying no to 10 crore of rupees to keep our mental sanity, but we don't realize that we are giving away our mental sanity for very trivial things in our day-to-day lives, which wouldn't matter maybe few years down the line or few minutes after a conversation or few days after. So if we start to think everything from that aspect, that whatever I'm stressing about, is it going to matter after 5 minutes? Is it going to matter after 5 days? Or is it going to matter after 5 years? And once you realize what the importance is of that particular aspect that you're stressing about,
Mhm.
then you have your answer that way. So, mental sanity, your mental peace, I think, should be at the top of your priority, and then you figure things out how you want to structure things around that mental peace and sanity so that that isn't disturbed. And more than yourself, it also impacts your loved ones around. If you're not at peace with yourself, if you're not your best version, if you're not feeling happy, then definitely people around you would be concerned and would get affected by your behavior also. So it's equally important for you and for your loved ones also around you.
That was the that was the most highlighted part of the conversation, I would say. A very important concept. A really great thing to put it in the giving away can be a serious situation or maybe having a very good experience. Yeah, it was wonderful to know that you give a lot of emphasis and a lot of importance in your life to mental health, self-care. I really learned a lot of things from you. There are a lot of things that I reminded myself that I need to work upon and I need to get that as well. So yeah, thanks a lot. It was wonderful to having you on board, and it did not feel like I was speaking with you for the first time. It really felt like I was having a conversation with an old friend of mine. And yeah, I'm really saying it from my heart. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful